Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on my YouTube channel. And for today's video, we are reviewing the second book in the Toronto Tundra series by Katherine Elle, No Shot. And just as a reminder, she's an independently published Canadian author. I love supporting independent authors. I think there are quite a few that put out a lot of great books. And I truly enjoyed this book. This one, solid 5 stars. Now, if you want to see me review the first book, Faded Shot, that is my last video, so you can go check that out. I was originally going to do them both in the same video, but I like to keep my reviews ideally under 10 minutes, and it will take me about like 10 minutes just to review this one. So I was like, you know what, this has to have its own separate video, especially since this one was my favorite so far. I'm hoping that there'll be a third book in the series. I just followed the author recently, halfway through reading this one, so I have not scrolled her profile if she's hinted at a third book. I did see a recent TikTok where she was talking about writing a book, so I hope it's a third book in this series, but I have not scrolled or past that yet. I just followed the author after realizing she followed me on TikTok, which I thought was super cool. So this follows Penn Brooks, who's actually childhood friends and teammates with Jack Brody, and then Bridget Campbell, who at the beginning of the book we just think is somebody he met at a bar, but it turns out not only is she not just somebody he met at a bar, she lives in the same building as him. She is actually the younger sister of his captain's wife, and we also end up learning a little bit later on, like pretty early on, but still like after, I think it's after he learns that she is his captain's wife's sister, he also learns that she is his next door neighbor. Now, Jack Brody used to be his next door neighbor, but when Jack Brody moved out of the building to find a place for him and Mia to live in, Bridget Campbell ends up renting the apartment next door to him, and they are neighbors. So guess what that means? Forced proximity, and I'm a sucker for a good forced proximity trope. Honestly, one of my favorite. I love forced proximity, and I also love age gap tropes too. I also think of other tropes too, but forced proximity was probably one of my first tropes that I labeled as my favorite, and this book has that. Like I said, solid 5-star book. I was gonna say something, and then I was talking about the forced proximity, and now I don't remember what I was gonna say. So yeah, basically, Penn Brooks decides that he needs to play better this year if he wants a contract extension with the Toronto Tundras. So his focus is hockey. He's like gonna stay away from like women and just gonna focus solely on hockey. And then Bridget Campbell is moved away because she and her sister come from PEI, so she moved to Toronto to graduate university and get her, it says here, her plan perfect until him. I thought my life mapped out for as long as I can remember. Move away from home, graduate from university, get my MBA, and build a wildly successful future I've always wanted. No distractions, no detours, definitely no hockey players. But Penn Brooks, he's frustratingly impossible to ignore and even harder to forget. So her focus is school, and she kind of feels like because her sister was originally in school, I believe, potentially graduated, but then met her husband in Toronto and then stayed in Toronto. But like her sister never, I think, initially wanted to stay in Toronto full time. She wanted to come back to PEI, and she wanted to like have a job and kind of be like this woman. I think that at least that's what Bridget Campbell thinks. So Bridget Campbell thinks that like her sister is trapped, not like fully trapped, but feels like she didn't get to achieve like all of her dreams, and that she's sort of like maybe like stuck and being, you know, just the wife of a hockey player, living full-time in Toronto with kids, and feel like she didn't get to like achieve like maybe what she wanted career-wise. And Bridget's like, well, I don't want that for myself. She's like, I want to achieve my career dreams. And then eventually, partway through the book, there's a sit down where she voices that to her sister, and there's just like, yes, this is not at all what we're expecting my life to be, but like I'm happy with my kids, I'm happy living here full-time in Toronto, and like we're making compromises. She's like, I'm living here full-time in Toronto while my husband is on the team, but when my husband decides to retire from hockey, we are going to move back to PEI because he knows that is truly where I want to live. And so that's sort of like, I think, what allows Bridget partway through to kind of, by the way, her name is Bridget, but she goes by Brie a lot, and sometimes she goes by Soup because that's the nickname that Penn Brooks gives her. And this is also, by the way, another trope. This is Grumpy meets Sunshine, by the way, and this is I would say this is Sunshine meets Sunshine. But so yeah, so like that, and her sister talking about how like how your life can kind of go in unexpected ways, in ways that you didn't expect, but you can still love it, sort of gives Bridget the idea that like maybe she can be with him and still like her life, and she can fall in love with like a hockey player. And because she's worried, she's like, what if he gets traded? Like I want to like have my career here in Toronto, and she's like, I don't want to have to like have long distance or like constantly be moving around and like not have like a consistent job. But her sister is kind of like, when her sister revealed like, oh, I don't feel trapped, I don't feel like stuck, I'm actually really happy even though my life turned out differently than I expected. She's sort of like, well, maybe I can have something with him, because it was always kind of like, no, like, I don't know, we're just gonna wait, and we'll like wait out until the end of the season, and then maybe we'll wait out to the end of the off season and we'll see. But he plays better when he is like, when they're like happy together and they're not like taking time apart. He tends to play better, and he decides he needs to play better to be able to stay in Toronto, to be able to stay close to her. But then they kind of decide, even if something were to happen and he were to get traded, like they would still try to figure it out in the end. And I just thought it was so cute. They also do like the friend with benefit, sort of like, because she's like, she doesn't think that they can truly be together because of what she wants to achieve career-wise, and he encourages her. He's like, I'm gonna support you. He was like, if I retire early or whatever to help you, he was like, I will support you and your career dreams. He's like, eventually, like, I'm gonna step away from hockey, and then he's like, I'll be a stay-at-home dad, and like, we're gonna show up to your things, and we're gonna like support you. And I think that just like encourages her to realize that like she can have like a relationship and a happy relationship, but still like do what she wants, like career-wise, and like graduate from her MBA, and like hopefully get this big job that she wants, be wildly successful. Well, he also is wildly successful. Like there can be like that compromise, and I truly enjoyed this book. Also, friends with benefits trope is a trope I tend to like, because it's kind of fun. You can tend to kind of see more moments where he really gets to show up and care for her. Like she ends up getting sick, and he ends up coming to like, because I think he hadn't seen her in a little bit, and he was kind of getting concerned because she wasn't like answering his messages, and she was really worried because it was like an exam or a quiz that was like worth a lot, or a project. I think it was like a project that was worth a lot, and so she was just like worrying about what the grade would be, and if she like did bad on that, then she might like have to like redo a whole semester or something, or at least this class. So she worried about that, and that ended up making her sick. And so then he comes over and like takes care of her, and I just like love those little moments when like one of the characters is sick and the other one goes and takes care of them. So honestly, I solid 5 stars, and I could not recommend this book more. And I definitely want to do, as I read more independently published hockey romance, or independently published authors in general, I will put my recommendations out of some of my favorites. So if you want to see a video on that, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss another brand new video from me. You can follow me at romanceblvd on Instagram, that stands for Romance Boulevard, and at Romance Boulevard, all spelled out, on TikTok. But yes, so that is all for today's video. You can, and like I already said, hit the subscribe button, notification bell. Let me know in the comments down below if you have other independent authors that you would recommend in the hockey romance sphere. I'm also starting to read some cowboy romance, so you can put some recommendations down there too, because I would love to expand the books I read and to support independently published authors, especially Canadian authors like Katherine Elle. So it's Katherine Elle, if you're watching this and you haven't already talked about this, because I just started following you on TikTok, so I might be a little bit behind, but I really hope there is a 3rd book in this series, because I will buy it. I will buy the paperback, because I enjoyed this, and I was like, when I was doing this, I was like, no, I'm already done being in this universe so quickly. And like, the thing that I love about hockey romance is like, they all have like found family, right? And I just love that. It's like this like community, like you get to be like, you get a glimpse, and it's like fun found family, and there's just something that I truly enjoy about that. So yes, so Katherine Elle, if you have a 3rd book coming out, I'm gonna be so excited, and I will be buying it, and it will be on my TBR. So yeah, that is all for this video. Until the next one, bye.